Which class is best suited to grind out World 5 boss keys at the Tremor map? Let's find out! In this series, we're doing a test of the 4 classes with reasonable respawn mechanics to see which one of them are best suited to grind which kind of maps. These 4 classes are the Divine Knight, the Bubonic Conjurer, the Elemental Sorcerer, and the Siegebreaker. They are all grinding the same map, with the same obol setup and the ship setup for one regular clock hour. Why World 5 boss keys, you might ask? Well, they are a drop you need plenty of to fight Kettlecurk at his different difficulties. And Kettlecurk has the drops you need to unlock 2 of the best in-slot items currently in the game. In this episode, we are rating the grind in 3 categories. First category being the main drop, the worm slices. We need 1 billion of these for the alchemy vial. Secondly, we are doing specific rare drops, in this case the World 5 boss keys. And the third is general rare drops, which contains golden food, statues, and that sort of thing. Before we get into the action, just a quick reminder to consider subscribing to the channel if you yet have not done so. We are currently over half the way to reaching 1,000 subscribers, and reaching that would be a huge milestone for me to achieve. So if you want to help me across that milestone, please consider subscribing to the channel. And now let's get on with the results. First out, we have the Divine Knight. He had a really rough time in the last episode when we were doing the Sewer Rats map. The Sewer Rats map have the mobs spread around much more than in the Trevor World map. This map should suit him a lot better, as there are only 2 platforms which needs clearing at any time, which the Divine Knight and the Knightly Disciple clear regularly with ease. The Divine Knight's grinding power comes mainly from their Orb of Remembrance stacks, and the Divine Knight here manages to regularly hit 750 to 800 stacks before the orb disappears. This should give huge returns in drops. After grinding for a full hour, the results are in. The Divine Knight grinded out 25.16 blue coins, 14.8 million worm slices, about 1500 statues and 1900 golden foods, 48 of the coveted boss keys, and over 700,000 other stuff. Is this setting a high bar for the others to follow? Will this be redemption for the Divine Knight after the last failure in the sewers? Or is this just the regular power level of all characters now, because of the further advancements World 6 and the clicker games have given our accounts? To answer some of those questions, let's look at our historically worst performer in this series, the Siegebreakers. Shout out to the video from a few weeks ago where we did all of the obsidian statues. Delivering those speed statues has given the Siegebreaker a whooping 700% movement speed, and because of that the Siegebreaker is now my highest damage character. Siegebreaker does comparably best in maps with few enemies and them clumped together, as the respawn mechanic can let them just sit in the same spot and grind the same enemy over and over. In the test, the Siegebreaker mainly sat in the bottom of the map and killed the bottom half of the enemies over and over, while the enemies on top were largely uninteracted with. After the hour was over, Siegebreaker had picked up the following from the grind session: 1 blue coin, 8.3 million worm slices, 56 statues and 92 golden foods, 33 boss keys, and about 30,000 other stuff. Again, nothing to write home about for this map for the Siegebreaker. Next up, it's our boy Bubonic Conjur's turn. For him, it's the same beat as the Divine Knight. Maps with a lot of enemies close together suits them well. While they do not have an ability that grants additional drop rate, like the 3 other contenders do, Bubonics are blessed with the fastest respawn mechanics of all the classes. They don't need additional drop rate when they can just take out the entire map 2 to 3 times faster than other characters. They take a few minutes to spread out their plague around the entire map, but after that is done, they will reliably pull from the grave the entire map every second or so. While grinding, Bubonic Conjur got us 13.8 blue coins, 7.9 million worm slices, 900 statues, 1200 golden foods, 32 boss keys, and 480,000 other stuff. Notably, Bubonic Conjur also picked up a Lucky Lad, pushing us ever so slightly closer to the Luckier Lad trophy. This would release so much bag space over my entire account, as I currently have about 60 of them in various inventories. Only 15 to go. Finally, let us look at Elemental Sorcerer, the multi-kill champion. Elemental Sorcerer's respawn mechanic, the Wormhole Portal, gives more loot but also increases the health of the enemies it spawns. This makes Elemental Sorcerer really good at green stacking materials from a low health world, but they usually struggle getting high Wormhole scores in higher worlds. As we see in the footage here, Elemental Sorcerer is struggling to push the Wormhole score over 150, losing out on both valuable stacks and multi-kill tiers. At the end of the hour, our final contestant had picked up 3.9 blue coins, 11.3 million worm slices, 114 statues, 171 golden foods, and 40 rolled 5 boss keys. In addition, they also got about 61,000 other stuff. As that concludes the performance of our 4 contenders, let's go to the final scoring. The Divine Knight took all the different categories, as they were just outperforming everybody in all aspects of the map. They are getting easy 10 points all over the board here. For the main monster materials, the Elemental Sorcerer were able to follow them quite good and managed to get 8 points in this category, while the Siegebreaker and the Bubonic Conjurer were close behind at 6 points each for their 8 million monster materials. For the golden foods and statues, the Elemental Sorcerer barely managed to bring out anything, so he gets 1 point, while the Siegebreaker actually did such a lackluster job at getting these rare drops that we are giving him entirely 0 points in this category. The Bonk Conjur, however, is performing pretty good, so they are getting 6 points in this category. For the main thing we wanted out of this run, they rolled 5 boss keys. The Divine Knight got 48, Elemental Sorcerer gets almost as many and gets also 8 points, while Siegebreaker and Bonk Conjur both end up with 6 in these categories. And since Bubonic Conjur brought us a lucky lad, he's getting 3 bonus points just because that is a very neat drop for me at this part in the game. That brings us to the grand totals of 21 points for the Bubonic Conjurer, 12 points for the Siegebreaker, 30 points and full score for the Divine Knight, and for the Elemental Sorcerer we are giving him 17 points. Before this map, we had the Bubonic Conjur at first place, Elemental Sorcerer at second place, and the Divine Knight down at third place. But after the performance at this map, the Divine Knight is back up on top where it was after the first map. The Bubonic Conjur has been put down to second place, and the Elemental Sorcerer down to third place. Siegebreaker has still the lowest score with a total of 27 points, trailing the other players by almost 40 points. But you just look at these numbers, he has at this map delivered the performance of his life, so something is certainly changing. Now at the end here, I just want to do a disclaimer. Everybody's account grows at different paces. There are so much different stuff to do in IdleOn that no one will have the same stat ratios, no one will have the same progression at the same characters at all times. So take my ratios with a grain of salt, but I think there are still some universal truths we can take out from this, and I think one of those examples is that this map just suits the Divine Knight very good, and that the Elemental Sorcerer struggles a little bit to do enough multi-kills with such high base health enemies as there are in this map. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the Harbinger. We've been doing some IdleOn research, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!